We also have, interestingly, reward hunters at 14%. I think maybe people are underestimating their desire for luxury and reward.
Any reward hunters in the room? Yeah.
Here we go.
Myself included, unfortunately.
Yeah, right. So you're the guys that are going to want to go for the really luxury spa later on. And the 21% for simplicity searches, which is an interesting one. I think this is one that I'll explain a little bit in the presentation. Many people will be looking for ways in which to make travel easier, and actually the more data that we have, the easier that's going to be. So we think that that's going to be a particularly large segment going forward. And then me, finally at the bottom, I'm very much a social capital seeker. And so for how many of you here, just so I can get a picture of the demographic, how many of you are social capital seekers?
A few in the room. We'll see you tweeting later.
Yeah, so if I'll need you guys specifically then to be tweeting #Tribes2030, following me, because I'm a social capital seeker, at Lawrence Lundy on Twitter, please. And so, yeah, this is our group, and what I'm going to go through is why we did this in the first place, and very much how you can use this to tailor your merchandising and segmentation strategies. So this is
the cultural purists as well, so the people that want to immerse themselves in the local culture and travel. So hopefully we'll be doing a little bit of that over the course of the next 2 days in Bangkok.
Indeed.
Not too much, though, please.
So yeah, exactly. So this, I'll explain why it's important, and we really want to get to the nitty-gritty. So this presentation isn't pie in the sky, it isn't these are great, it's very much a sense of how do you guys use this to actually create your merchandising strategies. So, one of the reasons why I'm firstly involved in this project is, as I've said, I'm very much a digital nomad. So I currently live in Saigon, where I work remotely for my company, Frost & Sullivan. And I have always felt that there is nobody that's really meeting my needs. I'm quite a strange case, so I live somewhere, but I do work for all sorts of in different countries. And I kind of, when I'm here in Bangkok, so for example, on Friday I'll be leaving to go to the River Kwai. So I'm here for business, but also very much here for pleasure. And I think that's becoming an important part of travel. And at the moment it's yet to be fully met by airlines. As we've mentioned, mobile first, don't need to go into detail on why that's important, but it's worth saying that we really are mobile first. All of my notes are on my smartphone. I'm WhatsApping as I'm talking to you now. And so we've got, mobile needs to be first, and at the moment we're not sure if everybody understands that, and especially being in Asia and living in Vietnam, it's very clear that these guys aren't booking flights on PCs. It's just not the first conception, it's go to their smartphone. So that's interesting. We obviously need, the reason why we're doing this and the reason why we've employed me and we've spent years working on this project is actually the way in which airlines are going to succeed in the future is by creating a brand and by meeting the customer needs. So customer satisfaction very much needs to be first, and there may well be people paying lip service to it, the customer is first. But actually what we've done is to try and create a framework that enables you guys to put customer first. Very, very important, of course. And the fourth, and the only one that's most important here, is it's actually higher margins. This isn't just, if we put customers first, it's at the expense of revenue. That's not the case at all. We believe that actually meeting customer needs more effectively will drive higher margins because of additional conversions. Before we started to create this framework, what we really wanted to do is to look to the future, to make sure that this framework, this approach, and how we help you develop your strategies is future-proof. And so, really important here is, as Philippe mentioned, about big data. It's a term you're all comfortable with, I'm sure, but actually how do we use this data, and how do we actually enable this operationally? How do we make personalized bundles? That's something that's going to be the most important element of your guys' businesses going forward, especially when you consider Google or you consider Facebook. These are analytic companies first. Every decision is driven by their data they have on the customers. And airlines are sitting on a gold mine. You guys have a whole load of data on your customers, and you need to be able to use that more effectively. Secondly, the purchasing behaviours are going to change. So right now, we're all trying to improve the booking flow. We're all trying to make it easier for customers to make a purchase. That's going to become increasingly automated and frictionless. Smartwatches are the first step towards that. A simple, press to order an Uber, but equally press to order a flight. These things are going to become easier, and voice recognition. I mean, we were looking to 2030. Now, voice recognition is already being it's relatively advanced, but I would imagine we're going to see a real takeoff in people's use of voice recognition with smartwatches in the next few years. So airlines need to be ready for this, because it's going to be much easier for people to make on the go purchases. So, for example, if I'm walking through the airport and I've just remembered that I have some extra time, and why not be pushing an offer to a smartwatch where I could just purchase with one click, one press? It's going to be very, very exciting for airlines. And finally, as Rob hinted towards, we believe sales channels are going to proliferate, and by 2030 we expect a whole host of new sales channels, including augmented reality, including virtual reality, and even service robots in the airport themselves that will be able to engage with customers. This may sound like it's far-fetched, robots talking to humans, but in Japan, in Nagasaki, there's a hotel right now that's fully staffed by robots that can engage with guests. So we're going to see a lot more of this. And what this means is the way in which to look at sales channels would be through inspiration and information. So information will be pushing information about the flight or pushing information about ancillaries direct. And what that will mean is it will be a small surface area, so the smartwatch. It might also be a real small notification in a glass, or even in a smartwatch, a smartphone, sorry. So it's going to be a small screen where the information needs to be small and simple and very easy for the customer to purchase. That's information. Inspiration, this is where airlines can start to think bigger about the sorts of services they can offer. This is about using virtual reality spaces, using the existing websites, but also trying to inspire the customer for their next journey. This is part, in our view, of becoming a brand. So moving from the information towards the inspiration. For example, there's no reason why in the next few years I shouldn't go to an airline website or an airline virtual space to get inspired about where I should go next. So, having looked at, why are we doing this? Because the travel environment is changing, as you know, and also looking at how the travel environment will change. What we want to help you guys is say, okay, how do we build this? And so what we have with that is the what, when, where, who, how. Simple, hopefully it's more simple than through, although it's 5 rather than 3 symbols. This is the combination of 2 years' work. So we've mentioned the Thinking Like a Retailer report, we've mentioned the Traveller Tribe's 2030 report, and the report that Frost & Sullivan wrote, which has been launched today, is the final part of this. So that by the end of this presentation, and once you've looked at the report, you'll have every single answer to this, so that you are ready to take this away and make some real actionable changes. So, you see from the top right, this is very much the what, the when, and the where. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Thinking Like a Retailer report. It is available online if you need to be refreshed at all. But broadly, the Thinking Like a Retailer report helped define what the what, when, and where as part of the merchandising strategy. You'll see on the left there from all of the different stages. What we built, Frost & Sullivan, and we know we helped Amadeus to build it, is very much a merchandising strategy based around 6 elements. Those elements are the technique that you use. That could be an email, it could be a push notification. To the sales channels, so we're looking at mobile, we're looking at the web user interface, we're looking at kiosks, and also the types of services that can be offered, at what price, and how to circle all this into personalisation. So this was the start. We realised, as we were writing this, that this is great, and this is really valuable, but what we need to know next is who are the right people we should be targeting to this thing. Because we kind of understood that I might like, as a social capital seeker, I might like to be contacted maybe at the Inspire stage, but there might be other people that would prefer to be contacted, at the airport stage, the obligation meters, at a different stage. So we felt that it was very important for us to try and understand who are the customers and who will be the customers in the future. And so we worked, Frost & Sullivan, with Amadeus, with the Future Foundation, to create this Traveller Tribes 2030. We've gone through each of those, and what I'll show you is that we felt that this is great, we've got the who, and we understand that really all of this stuff that I'm describing around virtual reality and smart watches, it's all, technology is great, but really it's being used in a variety of different ways. It creates choice, but also complexity. So it's no longer easy to say, I prefer to receive my notifications via email. What we really need to understand is what are the motivations of people travelling? Why do they want to travel? Rather than how old are they? Rather than what cabin class are they in? So what we want to understand is to go from a segmentation approach of traditional demographics to looking at motivation to travel. That's the real reason for the Traveller Tribes, and that's what we hope we can take away. So this is a pretty heavy slide, so I can walk you through it, but what this essentially is the how part of everything. This is what we can take away and what we can use. So you'll see on the left-hand side there, we have 6 different criteria. And so the criteria, the top left, opportunity to influence. This is when will be the best time to contact each of these different tribes. Below that, degree of personalization, extremely important because some of these tribes want to be personalized, they want everything personalized. That is very much the simplicity seekers. The family of 5, for example, who do not want to be looking at each of their children, they want the airline to understand who they are and offer them connected rooms, for example. But you'll see they're cultural curious. Cultural curious want to get lost. Those guys, they want to make their own decisions. What they want is the vendor to give them a canvas, and what they want is to be able to paint on it themselves. They want to be able to make their own choices. So it's very important to understand that. And then purchasing experience. Here we looked at how do they want their offerings. Some will want bundles, so very much the reward hunters who want a luxury spa or a helicopter trip, they'll want that as a bundle. But again, the cultural purists don't want bundles, they want to make their own decisions, so they want things a la carte. Social capital seekers, myself, are interested in potentially both. We may want to buy a bundle, but if there's a helicopter offering that I didn't even think about, and I find out a day before, of course I'll buy it. Well, if I have the money. Level of contact, super important. And this is something that I know you guys, I've done previous interviews with many of you, have said it's very hard to understand how to reach out to these people. When and how much, because we found in the Thinking Like a Retailer report that level of irritation is a huge problem, because you don't want to keep reaching out to a customer and irritate them, because you really only have one chance, and as soon as you irritate the customer, they might turn off push notifications, for example, and you've lost them. So it's critical to understand who you are pushing notifications out to, who are you contacting. Touch point devices. So this is what I described earlier about the inspiration versus the information. Some of these people want to be inspired, and they want, so the simplicity searchers, they might want to go on a summer holiday. They only have the school break to go, and what they really want is a few options where they can get a beach and they can get everything they want. They want to be inspired. Whereas, again, obligation meters, they really just want the information, because they already know where they have to be. So if you start offering the obligation meters somewhere to go in Mauritius when their business trip is in Frankfurt, it's of course, it's useless. And then finally, types of experience. This is the final step to say these tribes will want a specific experience, and they're going to be different. So obligation meters generally will want productivity. They're going to be wanting in-flight Wi-Fi, they're going to be wanting constant connectivity, an extra charger. They're going to be wanting to make sure that they can be productive on the go. That's not the same for cultural purists. Cultural purists aren't going to be wanting to be using their laptop or using their smartphone as little as they can. What they're going to be wanting are local offerings. They're going to be wanting things like authentic Thai cooking experience. So again, if we can look through those 6 different criteria and apply them to all of the different tribes, we have a very good understanding, a very good starting place to actually start devising our merchandising and segmentation strategies. What I'm going to do now is go through each of these in a little bit more depth, but it's worth saying that you all have the report in front of you. So if you guys want to understand how we got to any of these decisions, or a little bit more depth, it's all in the report. These are the infographics we created that hopefully are a really good visualization that you can take away. There are 6 of these, so there's one for all of them, so you'll see. And here is a little bit more depth of what I've just described. So you've got the opportunity to influence, which is important. Again, degree of personalization, and then bundle. So simplicity seekers, as I described, they're the family of 5 that are traveling, that wants everything to be as easy as possible. And these are a group that's going to be really important to reach, because you're going to be collecting and hopefully using so much more data than ever before. And so it's a perfect opportunity to create a more simple experience for these people. So you can quite easily create a personalised bundle I say quite easily. I understand how difficult it is for you guys. But of course, there are tools now, and there's the data there to be able to meet these needs. So that's the degree of personalisation. And again, types of experience, convenience. These people want everything to be as easy as possible. I mean, I know from family holidays in the past that really it's so stressful for my parents, and when they take me away, my sisters running around, and it must have been so difficult to plan. But airlines have such an opportunity to make that easier. Reward hunters like Rob. These are the guys that are happy to. They work really hard. I know Rob does work super hard, and what they want is just to be able to reward themselves on a holiday, on a break. And so, brilliant opportunities here for luxury and wellness products. So, if Rob was coming here not to be emceeing, and you were an airline, you would say there's a fantastic, really expensive restaurant that is really premium and you have to book in advance, but are you interested?
You make myself fantastic.
Yeah, but I'm sure you would. So there we have a real good segment of people that will be interested in luxury, and it's a good group to be reaching out to. So this is me, social capital seekers. I'm the guy that's already Instagrammed this, and hashtag no filter. I've already, as much as I can, let people know that I'm here. So I've tweeted this is on Facebook. I'm not on WeChat, but I guess many of you guys are using WeChat or Viber, or whatever it might be. But there's a whole, the way in which I travel is to let other people know where I am. Whether that's for egotistical reasons, fine, maybe it is. But it's important for airlines and for travel companies to be able to help us and you, social capital seekers, to do that. Why not create experiences where you can take a photo and make it easy to share? I've always thought it would be great if I could take a photo out of an airline window and share that instantly. But that involves some in-flight Wi-Fi, but it's something that will help, and it's a great segment to target. Cultural purists, these are the people, as I said, who like to get lost. I think that's the best example. I was speaking to a friend who said that they didn't want to book anything when we visit Malaysia. What they want to do is just arrive and book Airbnb on the day and just book a bus on the day. They want to get lost. They don't want to go on TripAdvisor to find out the best Indian restaurant. They just want to walk around and find out what that might be. So here,
by accident.
By accident's a great way. By accident. So these are a little bit more difficult for airlines to reach, of course, because they don't want to be personalised too specifically, and what they want, your a la carte, so it's hard to bundle to them. Level of contact low. So you would think that these people are less valuable, but I don't necessarily think so. I think there are great ways in which you could inspire these people And that's the key. So this is inspiration. So you could create experiences on the website or in a tablet app where you can help inspire people to have local decisions. And you're going to be wanting to do that close to the time of their use, of course. So, for example, if they don't want to ever make a booking, you don't want to offer a bundle right at the beginning of when they're first considering a holiday. So again, it's very different to the ones that have come before, and it's why it's very important we've done this, is to understand not just when, but also when not to irritate. The final one here, is ethical, two more. So ethical travellers. I best speed up a little bit. So we have ethical travellers. This very much is my girlfriend, who lives in Vietnam. And one of the reasons why she travels is to make a difference. So when she is when we were in Airbnb, she was teaching some English, for example, to Vietnamese children. So the type of person that really wants to make a difference, and that's an important angle, an important understanding of this tribe, to be able to therefore tailor this whole framework. Final one, obligation meters. Again, productivity, as I mentioned, but this you can really, really personalise for these people, knowing where they need to be and when, and for what reason, and being able to use that information to be able to tailor new products.
And I think on this one, this is the most interesting tribe I went through in Future Traveller tribes. In terms of obligation, is not just about business. If you think about someone going on a wedding or a religious festival or for a family occasion, having to meet that point in time, a business traveller wanting to be at a business meeting in time is important. But you imagine a situation where someone misses their wedding because of a connection or an event or something of that nature. So it's about being at a set point in time and having to be there and needing someone to support them throughout that entire journey to ensure they get where they want to go.
Very good. I've just tweeted that message. So we have all of these different tribes, and we've tried to look through the what, the when, the where, the who, and finally the how. So we feel like we have a really good framework to help you guys move on to the final. Really, this is what makes this concrete. This is what we started with 2030. We started with, what will the world look like? And what we tried to do is bring everything down to this sort of final slide. Very much of, here are the products that are available today that you guys can use to be able to create that customer journey, to make a more rewarding customer journey. And we think that...
So again, as I said with Lawrence, what we mapped out and throughout the entire conference is saying what are the various techniques and solutions and activities and rewards, certainly in terms of what are the benefits from the research at every single stage of the traveller journey. And this is what we want to explore with you over the course of the next couple of days, to share and engage, to really understand how we can take all this future traveller insight and apply it to today and the business model and shape the future going forward.
And I think I've written in the past a lot about how airlines and the travel industry really do need to put the customer first, because in the past I felt that that's not been the case. And I believe that this research, and certainly the way in which this framework puts the customer first and looks at the motivation to travel, that will help airlines genuinely put the customer first. Thank you.
So finally, last line, as we've said, wrapping up, everything you've seen with Lawrence is, and all the presentations will be available for you from delegates. It's all online now. And please, as you go through, if you want to share your tribes, you want to say #Tribes2030. It's already trending. We've got a lot of feedback on there. Anyone wishes to share their tribe or any activity, and indeed the gala dinner tomorrow night will be tribal themed. So, Lawrence, once again, thank you very much. That's been fantastic. Round of applause.